Welcome to Into the Mind of a Madman with your host, me, the Madman. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I emphasize all because whether your dad is in your life constantly 24/7, whether you don't actually know who your father is, whether you only seen your father every other weekend or every other year or month or whatever it is, this man still was half of the reason you're here. So I give thanks to that, you know. And as a father who had a kid at I would say at a later age in life, you know, I understand the trials and tribulations that go with life. So the reason your dad may not necessarily be in your life, I know it can vary. It's not just he didn't want to be there, you know what I'm saying? I just don't believe in that. I believe in whether it was a chemistry issue between him and your mom, or he just wasn't mature enough to handle responsibility. You know, like it's just different aspects of life that come into play, and when it's called upon to be a father, a father figure, that dad that the kid needs and loathes for, and once in a life, like that experience, everybody is not on a level to give it. So like I said, once you get older in life, and once you start having kids, you kind of understand certain things, that everything is just not black and white. So I just give a shout out to all dads, you know. On this one, I wanted to talk about my dad, you know, since it's being Father's Day. But before I got into a little aspect of me and my dad relationship, it's just pretty much just a small little aspect of it. I kind of wanted to address an issue that I had growing up, and within this whole father room. You know, growing up, I never understood why fathers were not credited to as being present parents. You know, when I was in school, a lot of the times, like if you got a letter home because of your bad behavior, or it was a school trip, it was like a permission slip, or whatever it was, you know what I'm saying? The teacher would be like, give this to your mother. If you get in trouble in school, they'd be like, well, I'm gonna call your mother. And for whatever reason, in my mind, it always played out as like, why don't you include my dad? Like, why is it never, yo, I'm gonna tell your dad, or I'm like, give this to your dad? Like, I don't know. I mean, I know I grew up with my dad, right? In my household. So I know for a lot of my friends and family members, and a lot of people I know in general, they didn't necessarily grow up with their dad as I did, right? Or it may become a time where you may have grew up with your dad and then something happened with the family split or whatever. Like I understand all of that, but I've never got the assumption of, yo, give this to your mom, I'm gonna tell your mom, or whatever. Like, it, to me, I always wondered why you never just say, get this to your dad. I don't know. That was like a personal understanding that I was looking for when I was growing up, and it just always stuck with me. Like, I don't know, yo. It was just weird to me. It was weird. I think like that. But I just wanted to put that out there because, like, start assuming dads are in lives, I guess. I don't know. I don't know whether it's the growing up in an urban inner city area that the assumption was that his dad is not there or his dad didn't really care, because I mean, do they, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the only people you figure, well, I've seen in my life, like, who dads, I guess, were given a consideration if their dad was actually, like, present far as, like, going up to the school and, like, you know, parent teacher conferences, like, where you actually got to know the parents, you know what I'm saying, in a sense. So it's like, all right, so you know my parents are there, so you give that effort of, all right, give this to your parents. But I'm more so basically talking about, you don't know my parents, you pretty much know the kid, and you know who drops him off at school or whatever. I mean, I don't know though. I don't know. I just never got it. I still don't get it. I don't know if it still happens today because I'm not in that situation. But as a kid growing up, I just always wondered that. That always just intrigued me. But with that being said, my dad, me and my dad, we have a special bond through sports. As people may know, I like certain teams, right? I like the Chicago Bulls. I like the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm gonna mainly focus on them because people pretty much wonder how, as a person growing up in New York, did you become a Cowboys fan, a Bulls fan? And I always give the credit to my dad. I always say my dad was so competitive that he made me like other teams outside of his team. Meaning, my dad, not necessarily being a New York fan, but he was a New York fan, right? He's all teams New York. But I know him to like the Chiefs in football, and like other, like he's big on sports. So he likes players and other teams. I've known him to like other teams. But he's a big New Yorker, so he's big New York fan. Knicks for sure. Just thinking about some things. But so my dad being such a competitor, I don't really know if the option was to necessarily, I'm going to have my son and he'll have the option to choose whatever team he likes. If he chooses the same team as me, that'd be cool. I kind of process it as in he's so competitive that he likes the Knicks, so he made me go, no, this is my team, what's your team? You know what I'm saying? That's how I internalized it. And me growing up in the 90s, the hottest teams were the Knicks. I mean, the hottest teams were the Cowboys and the Bulls, right? And his team, growing up in New York, was the Knicks and the Giants, right? So when we come, so like, if the hottest teams come in, take it as my father being very competitive, he wants to, I don't know if he wanted to install competitive. I don't really know. It's just how I'm processing it. But he's picking his team and he goes, what team you have? So me naturally being, with them being the hottest teams at that particular time in the 90s, it's like, what team can I pick to give my pops the most agony? Like being competitive, you know what I'm saying? So that, and that around about the time when I get into basketball probably was about 90, 91, where I've got of age to where I was like 6, 7, and I kind of can start understanding the game and learning the game. I feel like about 91-ish, 90, 91-ish. So now I pick the Bulls, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the hottest team. They're on TV all the time. And they giving my pops the most agony. He being from New York, he don't like Jordan. That's the one I'm going with. You know what I'm saying? Because he's so competitive. Same with the Cowboys at the time when I start, like, you know what I mean? You start understanding sports and different sports. Now you got football. He's a Giants fan. Like I said, I'm going with this team. What's your team? So now it's like, all right, who's the hottest team? It was natural that I just go with those teams because they were the hottest teams. They probably was on TV all the time. And him being such a New Yorker and New York fan of all the sports teams, and like I said, he being a competitive is like, I got this team, what team you got? So he's always gonna naturally go against those teams. But so like I said, to me the process, how I processed it was I never was raised to like his team. Like he never said, you're my son, so you're gonna like the same team I like. It was to me, it was given to me as a competitive, or like a competitor, you know what I mean? And that's where I get my competitive spirit from. So when I'm out in the world and I'm growing up, however it come, you know what I'm saying? Far as like, I remember playing Madden with my family members or with other people's family members. As far as like my friends, I go over their house, and my whole thing was, you pick up them sticks, no matter if you was 6 or 36, I'm gonna kill you on this game. You know what I'm saying? It's just a competitor in me, which I get from my dad, and I love that. And he just got me into sports. And I remember the first time I fell in love with a sport, it was basketball. Being in New York, you know, basketball was the thing. I remember coming, like, my first memory was coming from South Carolina, seeing my uncle, and then they had little basketball tournaments in the urban areas, urban communities, you know what I'm saying? You know, usually there's some type of summer basketball tournament. So we come back, and I remember them playing the game, like on the day we got back, they was having this tournament. And that's kind of like when I fell in love with the game. And then after that, it was seeing it on TV and then just watching it with my dad or whatever. But, yeah, man. And like I said, I remember it was a time where I didn't understand the seasons. So I kind of went through a lot of teams of liking them. Like, and what I mean by understanding the season, like, I was a young kid. So, like, say there's basketball season, right? And then basketball season ends. But me not understanding that there's an end to the season, it's like, oh, I like this team because they on TV, I see them. But then I don't see them no more. Because, like, whatever he was watching, like, the NCAA tournament or the NBA playoffs or whatever, like, the season was over. So I remember so many Saturdays of me getting up, Saturdays and Sundays of me getting up, trying to find a game to watch, and specifically find a team that was like, I just like, yo, I like this team, they good, like, you know what I mean? Because you first see them, you like, oh, cool, that's gonna be my team, and it's like, I don't see them on TV. I don't see the same team on TV. Like, I didn't understand TV schedules and certain teams playing you know what I'm saying? It was crazy. But as a kid, I kind of went through a lot of teams. I remember liking UMass when Marcus Camby was there. I remember liking North Carolina because they had the little baby blues jerseys. I remember liking a lot of teams growing up. But like I said, with my pops being so competitive and not really being one of those dads of my son is gonna like the same team as me, and he grow me up to like the Knicks and whatever, that eventually I just, like I said, popularity of the teams being good and the fact that my pops was just so competitive, I just ended up on Bulls and the Cowboys, which I appreciate to this day, and I still love them. I still ride with the Bulls and Cowboys. You know, watching that Last Dance documentary with the Bulls was a lot to me, because I mean, as a kid growing up, you don't really understand the inner workings of the issues in the business side. You know, you just watching the games, pretty much trying to understand the game and learn the game and being excited by the players or whatever, and the rivalries and all of that. And it kind of cleared a whole lot of things up, because I had a lot of feelings as a kid. I remember it brought back a lot of feelings. But this is about my dad. But I just wanted to share that aspect of our relationship, you know. I mean, I'm a big competitor, and like, I'm gonna tell you this story, man. Now, this is when I was older, when I was about 20 something, and my pops, we played poker, right? He was teaching me different games of poker, and we was playing for like real money, like $1-2 hands, like $1-2 hands and bets and all that. This dude beat me for $72, yo. And if you don't really understand poker and $72 at $1-2 hands, that's kind of a lot of hands to lose, bruh. Like, I remember one time he had like 5 aces, because he was like I said, he was teaching me different ways of playing it. You know what I'm saying? Because my pops is like a poker player. He likes to play poker and all that. So he was teaching me different ways of playing with different wild cards and whatever. And he really beat me, bro. It was crazy. He collected too, bro. He did collect on that money, yo. Like I said, my pops is that type of dude. But he created a sports player in me. He created the competitor in me. And, you know, not one to, you know what I mean? I've never, I mean, it was a lot, yo, but I really appreciate that. I want to let you know I appreciate you for that. I never thought I would grow up to be the person that really don't watch sports, because I work a lot and I kind of catch it how I catch it. I always thought I would kind of grow up to be somewhat similar to him, as in like come home from work and then turn on the TV and watch the games. But I really don't get to watch as many sports games because I kind of work a lot. And then like when I am home, it's family time and I'm tired and I don't know, yo. But the competitor, yo, it meant a lot to me, yo. But now I have a daughter. I don't have a son, so I have a daughter, and I'm gonna create a sports. I want to create a sports player in her, because I love it so much, and I want to have that. Like I want that bond between me and my daughter. But the only thing different, I'm gonna have her be. I feel like I want her to love the team I love. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I see it. Maybe if I had a son, maybe I would be more the lines of my dad. But in a sense, the reason I brought this whole aspect up, right, was because a big part of me outside of the sport, because like sports athletics, it teaches you values in life: teamwork, camaraderie, brotherhood. It teaches you how to dedication, competitiveness. It teaches you a lot, right? And I think the biggest takeaway that beyond sports that I wanted to thank my dad for, and this is what this show was created for, this particular, it was individualism. I feel like he allowed me to be an individual, which, if you know me, I'm such a loner. I'm such a person who does his own thing. I'm not really intertwined with my family as I guess as many others are. I'm pretty much like on my own path, and I thank him for that, because that, in a sense, that's what that taught me. Like, you can do your own thing. Like, you could have your own individual. You could be an individual. It's hard me saying it right now, but you could be your own individual. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it taught me more, because that's more my character at this point. I want, if I had a son, I would want him to be his own person, like I was. You know what I mean? I want him to be his own man, and it's not like a live up to me and be what I want you to be. You know what I'm saying? It's that freedom of having them options. And I don't know if he necessarily created that. Like, if he didn't do that way, that I wouldn't be that way. But I know there are a lot of sons who try to live up to their father standards and their father's approvals. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not beyond the sports accolades. I'm just saying in life, like, a lot of sons, they standards are set by if they dad approves of it. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, for me, and the personality of me, his way, his competitiveness, it just took it beyond sports, and it made me the individual that I am, and it made me want to take chances by myself, and it made me that much of a man, in a sense, And I just want to say I appreciate you, I love you, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, growing up, I had mixed feelings because, you know, when you deal with your dad, well, my dad was like the disciplinarian of the family, right? So there's always I don't know, like I guess a lot of people, if you don't have like two parents in your life, you probably wouldn't understand it. But like when one parent is the disciplinarian, the other parent is pretty much the soother, or not, like they discipline you, but it ain't the same. You know what I'm saying? It like you disciplined by your dad, but you run to your mom for comfort type thing. So it creates a dynamic just by it being like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like a slight to him or anything, or a slight to my mom. It's just what the dynamic is. It automatically creates that. You know what I'm saying? But so, but like I said, as I grew up and became the man that I am, I learned to appreciate my dad even more. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, like, it's these stages we go through. And like I said, I just wanted to say thank you for being who you are. Whether you, like, I understand you had to go through what you had to go through, because you are only human. You are only a man. You are only you, and you are you and what your experiences made you. And you did the best you could with the knowledge that you had, with the experiences you had, with the effort you gave, and the vices you had, or, you know, and like I said, in the beginning of this, I give a shout out to all the fathers, because like I said, as a dad now, and as an older dad, I'm only 35, but I have my kid at 30. You understand the different aspects in life. You understand that the obstacles and the situations you're put in, and everybody is not made to like live this millionaire lifestyle, this glorious. Some people gotta work for this. You know what I'm saying? Some people gotta put in the work, and the work you putting in may not necessarily add up to the dollars in your pocket, but you trying to provide, and you trying to live right, and you got other things going on, and you might have different ways of coping with them, and it's a whole lot. But I understand it now, and I want to say thank you for just putting your best foot forward, especially growing up within the environment and around a lot of people who necessarily didn't have a dad in their life like that. You know what I'm saying? I've always been appreciative of that. And it's a couple of people in my life going back years that know that, you know what I'm saying? I do understand the privilege I had to grow up with two parents, to grow up with a dad who through whatever they had to go through was actually present. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, man, it was a lot of thoughts that just went through my mind at this point. The show wasn't even meant to go like this, but a lot of thoughts just went through my head, and it was, you know what I'm saying? But happy Father's Day to all the dads. You know, just do what you can do. Try to be there, and hopefully one day, hopefully it's not your deathbed, but hopefully one day it'll kick in that, you know what I mean, you could have did better if whatever. That's to the ones who wasn't there. But just know, just be thankful that they did what they did to get you here. And that's all you can do. Thank you. And these are my thoughts.